A Wairarapa woman who suffers from a rare and incurable degenerative disease says she only found out her medical trial, funded by pharmaceutical company Biomarin, was ending when she arrived at Auckland Hospital for her fortnightly infusion. Alison Locke has Pompe disease. In adults without treatment, it leads to progressive muscle weakening and problems with breathing and swallowing. It is fatal. But she was selected to go on a trial for a new form of treatment, Myozyme. At first, she flew to Australia for her infusions, but recently she's been getting them in Auckland. They work, her health is stable, and her breathing isn't getting worse. 2 weeks ago, she signed a contract with Biomarin, extending the trial for a further 10 years. She was delighted, as you can imagine, but without explanation or warning, that has now been cancelled. Her next infusion in a fortnight will be her last. Alison joined me in the studio a short time ago and told me what difference the trial has made to her life.
It gave me my life back, actually, because you get the diagnosis of a fatal disease and you think your life's over. You find out that there is a drug to treat you and then Pharmac won't fund it. And then I got on this trial, and it gives you a whole new lease of life. So,
forgive me, this is a brutal question, and I'm sorry to ask it, but had you not had this drug, been on this trial, would you still be alive now?
Probably not. No. And at the very least, I would be in hospital on a tracheostomy and not being able to look after my children. So I've had 5 years of being extremely fortunate.
Being a mum. All those good things.
And that's what I do it for.
You travelled. How many times have you been to Australia?
Oh, it was about 80 times. Yeah, over 3 years, every 2 weeks. I never missed one.
Extraordinary. And you live in Masterton. And it's not an easy place to get in and out of Masterton.
No, it's not.
So you went Masterton, Palmerston North, Auckland, Auckland, Australia.
Yeah.
80 times to participate in this trial.
Yep.
What's happened to the trial?
Well, the drug company's just cancelled it. We're not really sure why. The infusions work. They said they weren't cancelling it because of efficacy or safety. They were happy with that. So some rumour has it that it was sold to another company and they've squashed it, maybe a competitor. And others say that they didn't think they'd earn enough money out of it. They wanted to only have drugs worth 500 million or more annual income, and they thought they'd only get 400 million.
Because this is a relatively rare thing that you're suffering from, right?
Yeah, very rare.
So you were given a drug which seems to have made a difference, to have allowed you to live and to live a relatively normal life. And now the trial that you were in is just off.
Just off. 2 weeks ago today, I signed a contract for 10 more years. Yeah. And this week, they cancelled it.
So you believed you had another 10 years to go?
Yeah.
And having signed up for 10 years, they cancelled it less than a fortnight later?
Yep.
That seems cruel on the face of it.
I know. There was, and I had today's infusion. I've got one more next month in 2 weeks' time. They didn't even give us time to be able to try and source another option. That was just cancelled. That's it.
And how did they tell you?
They didn't tell me. One of their patient advocates told my friend in Canada, who's the Canadian Association of Pompe president. So he emailed me and said there's something going on, but they've said that everything will be status quo. You'll have your infusions, nothing's going to change. And so we tried to get information out of the company, nothing. They haven't said a word. They still haven't ever said anything to me yet.
So who's told you that your next infusion will be your last?
The site here at Auckland Hospital have said that this is your last date because they were instructed by the drug company to wind it up before the end of July. So that's it.
And what does that mean?
It means I will have no more treatment.
The thing that this is an insight into for me is the huge sums of money involved, the fact that on the one hand pharmaceutical companies are making drugs that save lives and they can feel very proud of that and occupy the moral high ground. On the other hand, they have shareholders, they want to make profits, and this is a business.
That's right.
And by golly, you are being exposed to that in the most unsentimental terms, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. that's hard to actually fathom that people could be that thoughtless about another human life, because there's just been not even a thank you, Alison, for taking part. And I'm extremely thankful to them for having been able to take part. But there seems to be just a callous disregard to the people who have been on this trial, which is pretty difficult to believe, actually.
Checkpoint has contacted drug company BioMarin's office in Australia and in the United States to ask why Alison's trial, which she just signed on to for another 10 years, has been cancelled 2 weeks into that 10 years. We have yet to hear back. Pharmac told us it has no responsibility for clinical trials. In New Zealand, such trials are subject to approval by a range of different ethics committees. We're going to look at the ethics surrounding this too. How can a 10-year trial be cancelled in such a perfunctory fashion? We will report